Hi there, I'm Jen, this is Remembered Reads, and this is going to be my TBR for the upcoming March Mystery Madness. March Mystery Madness is the annual celebration of all things mystery and mystery adjacent. As with every year, if you read even one short story that's vaguely mysterious in the month of March, you are participating in March Mystery Madness. I will link below to all of the co-hosts and the founders and all of the social media. You can participate as much or as little as you like. That's the fun of this. The first book that I'm going to mention for my TBR, air quotes, is a book that I couldn't hold off on and I read already, and that's Sujata Massi's The Mistress of Bhatia House. This is in her Praveen Mystery series, in which the sleuth is the only female solicitor in 1920s Bombay. I'm mentioning this even though I'm not going to be reading it in March, because I will be talking about it. I haven't made videos in a while, so this is going to be one of the things I talk about. On to the books I'll actually be reading. There's always an Agatha Christie, at least one if not more, and so I'm going to be reading Ordeal by Innocence. As I mentioned in my announcement video, this has some folks in formal wear on the cover, which means that it's on theme for our To the Nines theme, but as always the themes are optional. And this involves a murder in which someone has been convicted and goes to prison and dies there, but probably isn't the actual person who did it, so then intrigue ensues. I have seen the TV series of this, I believe, but I don't remember much of it, so that should be fun to revisit. After that, I'm going to be going back to an author that I often read something by in March, and that's Asma Zehanat Khan's Blood Betrayal. This is in her second mystery series. The first one is about a culturally sensitive crimes unit in Toronto. This one is a culturally sensitive crimes unit in Colorado. And in this one, I believe they're investigating a police shooting of a suspect in a graffiti case, and so they're investigating basically the two things at once. All of this author's work, it's usually something that's tying into something topical, so I think that's issues in policing that this one is going to be visiting. It's a fairly short book compared to a lot, and often these ones have a lot of kind of family stories with the detectives in the background, so I'll be curious to see how the pacing of this plays out. Because, yeah, it's shorter than they often are. And then I think I will try something that leans more towards the thriller side. This is S.A. Cosby, Razorblade Tears. I saw a lot of booktube people reading this last year, so I'm curious to see how that goes. It's where two men whose sons were a couple who were murdered are going off to do their own investigating, and it's one of these, they wouldn't have been friends otherwise, but they both care about finding what happened to their sons and go from there. So I don't know much else about this from there, but I am curious because everything that I've heard when I've seen people talking about that one on social media has been positive, so. And another one where the sleuth is not a professional detective. This is The Final Bet by Abdullah Hamdouchi. And in this, a Moroccan man goes home, discovers that his much older French wife has been murdered, and drama ensues. And the wife was 40 years older than he was, and he was having an affair, and drama ensues beyond just the crime, I assume. Hilariously, I have a secondhand copy of this, and it was apparently part of a mystery book exchange where everyone wrote in the sides like, thanks for X title that the person who got this got. So that's kind of fun. I forgot to mention this was translated by Jonathan Smolin. As usual, I'm also planning to pick up a couple of graphic detective stories or mysteries. As usual, Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips had a new book that came out last year that I've been saving for March, and that's a standalone this time, not one of the series, and it is called Where the Body Was, which revolves around a murder mystery that's set in the mid-80s in California, and that jumps back and forth in time and between character perspectives, so I think that should be fun. And I might pick up a horror mystery hybrid comic as well, and that would be Simon Spurrier's Damn Them All, which I believe is illustrated by Charlie Adlard. I've heard it described as Hellblazer-esque. I don't know if that's because Spurrier used to write Hellblazer. What is this book about? About devils who are mysteriously freed, and they have to be tracked down by the main characters. So that could be interesting. And yeah, that is basically all the planning I have. Usually I end up listening to audio versions of a couple of Agatha Christie's short stories during March too, so those will probably show up in my wrap-ups eventually too. If you've read any of these, I'd love to hear what you thought of them. If you're participating in March Mystery Madness, and I hope you are, let me know what you're reading, because I would love to hear. And yeah, that's it for now. Ciao.